Okay, for those of you just joining, I'm going to put up our logo for this webinar, and just give me a moment here. So we'll begin in a few minutes here. So it looks like we have a number of people that have actually got on. That's exciting news. If you go back to the chat window here in Webinar Jam, you'll notice that there's a sticky note there that is redirecting you to our Facebook group where conversations will be held there, and also additional information that will help you as we're going through the webinar. So I'm just going to wait a few more minutes here. I see we have Noor, Justin, Raj, Abdul, Yasar, Don, Bonnie, John, Alan, Charisse, Tony, Walter, Leo, Randy, Sandra, Ricky, Peter, Fred. We have Jeff, Jay, Juan, Raul, Audrey. We have Gunther, Vince, Ricardo, Srinivas. We have Jargil, Usman, Lloyd, and Charlene on the broadcast right now. So welcome, everyone. Let me actually just share with you what we're going to be doing today. First of all, I'm going to show you some steps here. I'm working with a product called Webinar Jam, and if we have any technical glitches, just go with the flow here. We'll work them out. But today, what I want to show you is where you can download this free tool set that I'm going to be walking you through. And we're going to walk through that. And then I'm going to give you an opportunity to join my Mastermind Group. So also, for those who stay to the very end of this webinar, you'll have an opportunity to receive a free gift from me, which is valued at $97. Okay, so let me share with you a little bit about myself. Basically, I'm a graduate of Brandeis University and Boston University, and I have over 25 years experience consulting for major corporations. And a lot of what I'm going to share with you is what I've implemented to help other people be successful. What I'd like to do is hear back from you, and again, at the end of this webinar, there'll be an opportunity for you to contact me. So I'd like to hear back from you so I can better understand what your challenges are. All right, so let me exit out of this presentation and go right into where you can download the tool set that we're walking through. So going to the Facebook page, though, I've posted a message on the Facebook page Let me just scroll down. Let me make sure I'm sharing my screen here. Give me 1 second. Okay, I am. Good. So back on the Facebook page, there's a group, and I have an administrator there waiting to welcome you. If you go to the Webinar Jam chat, you'll see a link to that group. It's a sticky chat. And you'll see a post. Let me just scroll down here. That says, getting started with risk management tools and techniques. And if you're on the webinar, just post a comment there and let me know that you're here. Just say hello and where you're from. So in this section here where you see my name, go ahead and post where you're from. And I'm going to give people a moment here to share where they're from. There is a bit of a delay here in the webinar, so I'm ahead of you, and you guys are getting this at a delayed rate. But come to Facebook, click on the sticky link, and come to Facebook. Our admin, Paul, will go ahead and approve you. Just to show you from the webinar, if you're not familiar with this, let me exit out of screen sharing. Hello. Actually, I want to show you the chat window here in Webinar Jam, just in case some of you may not know where to go to click on the sticky link. So give me 1 moment here. I'm going to go ahead and share the screen if I can. All right, so ignore the duplication of the windows, but notice on the right-hand side there's an admin note. So just go ahead and click on that link there, and that will bring you into the Facebook chat. Okay? And, okay, great. Raj Kumari is on from Toronto. Welcome. And I see other people are joining as well. Okay, good. So I know this is working. All right. So let me go back to sharing my screen and going into where you can download this tool set. So if you go to, and this will all be recorded so you can access this information. I'm going to repeat this at the end. But if you go to e-projectmanagers.com, this is one of the websites that I run and I founded, and log in, I'm going to show you exactly where you can get what we're going to be reviewing today. So I'm logging in on the right-hand side over here. If you're new and you don't have a login, create one. When you create one, you can create a free account, or you can sign up as a VIP account. VIPs have more access to information, but we'll get into that some other time. But notice in the menu up here, it says PM templates. And if you click on that, you can go to either the project planning or project execution categories, and when you open them up, you'll find a risk management file. Now, don't do this right now. I'm just showing you this so that you'll know after I walk through everything where you can go to get this information. Okay, so let me just scroll down here. Oops. Okay, so at the bottom, it's in alphabetical order. You see risk management, and when you see this, just click on the download, and it'll download an Excel file, which is what we're going to review. Okay, so this is where you go to get this file. Now, to walk you through this file, this is an Excel file that I've used for many, many years, and I found it to be very, very helpful for people. You'll notice at the bottom of the screen down here, there's a worksheet with instructions, which is what I'm on right now. And these instructions simply walk you through how to use these other worksheets here. Okay? So if you have any questions about this, feel free to contact me. But basically, the instructions walk you through this worksheet. Now, let me go back to sharing a little bit about myself here. I'm going to stop sharing the screen and come back to myself. So basically, as I mentioned, I've been consulting for many, many years, and I find that a lot of people experience a lot of stress and anxiety over how to control their projects. And what I've become an expert at is working out simple techniques that allow you to be successful at what you're managing. So if you take what I'm giving you and customize it, you can easily adjust this template. I encourage you to look at your own environments and see, how much of this you need to use and what you need to change. One shoe does not fit everyone, so everything is customizable. And if you have any questions at any time, I'm more than happy to help you. So feel free to contact me. Now let's go back to this template. I'm going to share my screen again. And for those of you who are just joining, we have a Facebook group where you can go. I'll show it again one more time. And post any questions. We have an admin out there, and if you post your name and where you're from, that'd be great. So once you've downloaded this template, I encourage you to go to the first worksheet tab. Now here, what I've done is create a template that allows you to actually email this to subject matter experts that you're working with. And the idea is that if you email this to them, this template, which by the way has 4 repeated forms on it, and all of the forms say the same thing. It's something that they can duplicate and copy. This allows your stakeholders to identify risks. And in this worksheet, you'll have 2 forms. The form that I'm on right now allows each individual to identify the constraint, the event, and the effect. The survey form M, which I just clicked on now, the difference between this form and the other one is that this form, you'll notice at the bottom, allows you to capture from your stakeholders their mitigation strategy. So both of these forms are in there. I'd say if it depends on the maturity of your organization in terms of which form you use. If they are a more mature organization and are familiar with thinking through risks, then go ahead and ask them to provide you what the mitigation strategy is. But anyway, on this form, you'll notice that there's blue text. Okay, this is just, in this example, sample text that you'll replace or remove. You can give this to your stakeholders with this sample text in. You can replace the sample text with something that's more relevant to your environment. But the general idea is you give them this form that allows them to think through what risk might exist. And the first thing is constraint. Due to what? And in this example, I wrote purchase of new hardware. And then the next row here reads event. If something happens, what? So if the event of the procurement process is too slow, that would be a risk. The effect, then, what happens? Servers will not be set up on time for performance testing. And then the mitigation, prevent by, is what I wrote in here. Feel free to change the language in this template. You'll be able to do that. But the mitigation is, in this case, obtain estimate on procurement process and add weekly milestones into project schedule. Then what your subject matter experts would do is they would rank the probability and impact of this risk happening. And what I did was I added a comment in this cell, which you can edit and change and rank in whichever way works best for you. One, the probability here is a long shot. You can actually look at this. I'm not going to go through each of these, but each probability has a rank, has a value. And if it's a sure thing, it's a high probability. If it's likely but not definite, it's a lower probability, and so on. The same for impact. You want to look at what the impact is on your project. So if the impact is something that you can fix on the fly and it's not going to impact your schedule, then the impact would be a 1. If it's something that you would be able to, they have to stop and take a look at, it's a more serious impact if the risk occurs, then you could rank it as 3. And so on. If you look at the comment here next to impact, you'll be able to see, and again, you can edit this and put in your own rankings for how you measure risks. But the bottom line is that if you give your subject matter experts a form like this, email it out to them in advance, ask them for their input by a certain date and time, and then schedule a risk review meeting where you sit down and walk through each of these. So this form is pretty straightforward. It's a template that you can customize, email it out, and when you get it back, you'll get it back electronically, print it out, and then literally cut up the squares so that you'll have one square for each risk. And the next thing that you'll do in your risk session is meet with your team to go through each of these risk surveys that you've received. Now, in this risk management toolkit that you'll get from e-projectmanagers.com, you'll notice there's a worksheet that says risk board. And if you click on that, this board can be used. Let me reduce my screen size so you can see the whole thing. If you print this on a plotter, or if you use a whiteboard and draw this on a whiteboard, what you're going to do is end up pasting the actual risk forms that you get back. So here's an example. I created an image of, let me make this larger, not smaller, of when you get the risk forms back, you can, at the beginning of your meeting, come in before your subject matter experts come in, paste all of the feedback surveys that they've provided you on the board in the order that they've given it to you. Like, don't change anything. Just take what they've given you and literally paste it on there. They would have already provided you the probability and the impact. That's coming from these cells up here, the probability impact. And once you have that information, you're going to paste it on this whiteboard, or if you print this out on a plotter, so that when people come in, you have a starting point. And then you'll begin your discussion. Literally what you'll do is walk through each one of these survey forms and make sure that your team agrees on the content, that they agree on the probability and the impact and the description. Sometimes, one of the things that I've noticed is sometimes you'll receive a risk form like this, and it actually contains more than one risk in it. So you might need to come to your meeting. I actually strongly recommend you come to your meeting with a bunch of blank forms, so that when people think of additional risk, or if you discover a risk that actually combines multiple risks in it, you can quickly split it and then post it up on your board. So what you'll do is review this and make sure everyone agrees on the probability, the impact, what the constraint is, and what the event is, and the effect is, and even the mitigation strategy. And essentially, you'll take all of this information. Oops, excuse me, my mouse just scrolled over. And you'll post it up. And when you're done, then everyone has agreed. And by the way, it may take you, depending on the size of your project, it may take a couple of meetings to actually go through everything. So be aware of that detail. But once you have all of this laid out, then you can go ahead and enter this data in the risk log. So down here you'll see a risk log, and let me zoom out a little bit so you can see. This again is a part of this Excel file which you can download, and you can see there's quite a bit of data in here that you can capture. But feel free to customize this and add or remove columns as needed. The way this is structured is that this risk log, once you've filled out the risk board here with all of the different survey forms, you'll take that information and put it in the risk log. There'll be a risk number, date identified. One of the things that you'll want to do in the meeting is assign an owner to the risks, so that they'll follow up with the risk. If there's a mitigation strategy, they'll be responsible for that. Projected area of impact, risk description, all this information you can gather. So have this form in your risk analysis meeting. And one of the important things I want to point out is that you don't stop with this form. the next step really is to take this information and put it in your project schedule and plan for a process to review risks. So if you have a trigger event, you might want to add that as a milestone in your project schedule. A trigger date, would be the start date for that milestone in your project schedule. Let me continue scrolling over here. All of this information is coming from let me minimize this so we can see more, the survey form that you've created, and you fill it in. The way this Excel file is set up, I just want to point out one other important detail, is there's a formula here. And again, you can customize this to suit your needs, but let's say there's a risk that has a probability of 3. If I put that in here, and the impact is a 2, then the risk level column, let me just expand this for a moment here, has a formula in it that automatically calculates. If you prefer to see this information, it helps you identify high-level risks by visually displaying a number. Then this is a feature that you'll find beneficial. And then continuing to scroll over, you would document your mitigation strategy, response strategy, and track when you last reviewed the risk, as well as provide any comments and status. A risk can close in your project. A new risk will open. The process that you go through at the very beginning in terms of doing an analysis and meeting with your team and posting the risks on the risk board is really part of the first step. You really need to then plan to continue to monitor the risks. So this is just an introduction to this particular tool. Now, what I'd like to do is, I know everyone's very, very busy, so I don't want to take up a lot of time. I want to share with you the fact, let me go to my presentation here, that, give me 1 second. For those of you who are on this call and who have participated in this, you will have the opportunity to receive a free gift. And this is for, let me bring this up here in full screen mode. The first 3 people who complete the survey that I have in the Facebook page, you'll have the opportunity to receive a free 15-minute one-on-one Skype call private coaching session with me. And there's a link to the survey in the Facebook group. Let me go over there and show you where that is. So when you're in the Facebook group, you'll see a pinned post that says welcome to the group. And by the way, I'm going to post the past webinar recording links in the files menu up here. But the second item here is what I'm referring to now, the additional coaching sessions. If you click on this link and submit the survey, then you'll be eligible for the free 15-minute one-on-one Skype private coaching session with me. Okay. The other detail that I want to share with you is if you're interested in additional coaching, I have a mastermind group that you can join. And again, you would complete the Facebook group survey in order to be able to participate in that. So again, going back to the Facebook page, just click on this link here if you would like to participate in the additional coaching. And let's see, what else do I want to share with you? Oh, there are some helpful resources for those of you who are looking for more project management help. I founded and created 2 websites that provide significant information to people. You can sign up for free, as we mentioned, to get this template that we walked through at e-projectmanagers.com. If you need assistance with Microsoft Project, there's createandmanageschedules.com. And I want to point out that we have another webinar coming up next Wednesday, and it will be on controlling risks using tools that I found, once you've logged them, the risks, that I found to be very helpful to help you manage through the risk in your project lifecycle. So you'll learn about what to do after they've been identified. Okay, so just to repeat, those of you, if you haven't already done it, go ahead if you're interested in your free gift by participating in this webinar. You are eligible for that by going to the Facebook page and completing the survey. And additional coaching is available. Don't hesitate to contact me. And you can join the mastermind groups. We'll be working with groups and going through questions dynamically. And I think that's it for what I wanted to show you. I appreciate your time. I want to thank everyone for joining. And I'll look forward to seeing you on the mastermind groups. So thank you very much. I hope you benefited from this presentation. It'll be available. It's recorded. It'll be available if you signed up. I'll be sending a link out to everyone so that you'll be able to review this recording. And have an excellent day. I look forward to working with you and helping you be successful. Bye-bye.